Nate Skinner back out for his 5th inning of work. He's been, well, very efficient through the first 4 innings. 36 pitches, 30 strikes, which is
that'll play.
Impressive enough in its own right, but perhaps just as impressive, 11 of 13 first pitch strikes to the snapper hitter. He's going to have 4, 5, and 6. Adam Hunt, Ryan Coleman, and Jeslyn Whitehead as the snappers look to fight back from a 2-0 deficit, and there's another first pitch strike as Adam Hunt swings through it.
And Jake, one thing to consider as the Suns angle towards a first-round playoff matchup, Mike McCulley was the staff ace and certainly earned that title after 6 or 7 really electric starts. He had one rough outing against Winter Garden, but apart from that, a sub-2.5 ERA, a phenomenal strikeout-to-walk ratio, well deserving of the call up to the Cape Cod League. But the Suns now have to figure out who they would potentially be throwing either in a one-game play-in or Game 1 in the best-of-3 series. Nate Skinner certainly doing a good job of auditioning for potentially a playoff start.
Here's the 0-2, and it's swung on and missed. Make it 6 on the night for Skinner. And if you're Coach Mike Powers, the schedule sort of lines up for it. Of course, he'd be throwing on, I'll do my quick math here, 4 days rest if he were to pitch in Sunday's play-in game.
And we'll see. I mean, he's been extremely economical with the pitch count, but we'll see what happens regarding the management of Skinner here. Nobody warming in the bullpen right now.
Tried to go for the breaking ball to Ryan Coleman, misses inside. Coleman was the first of the 6 strikeout victims. That was back in the second. Had 2 hits in the ballgame last night in Leesburg, including an RBI double. He's going to foul this one off to the left side.
Leesburg, like we mentioned, in a game against the Rats right now. The Suns and the Lightning have a 3-game set coming up to finish out the regular season, starting tomorrow in Leesburg.
1-1 misses up and away to Coleman. On deck, Jeslyn Whitehead, followed by Jack Spates. Spates, the lone snapper to record a base hit so far.
I believe a Leesburg win and a DeLand loss tonight.
This one's going to be lined in the left center gap. Diving is Chayka, and he can't come up with it. We almost had a web gem right there, but in and out of the glove of Chayka. It'll be a base hit for Ryan Coleman, and the Snappers have a runner on with 1 away.
It looked like Chayka got to that ball, but just couldn't quite keep it in the glove. Full extension out of the Kentucky Wesleyan product. But back to my point on the Lightning and the Suns. A Lightning win coupled with a Suns loss, I believe, would lock Leesburg into the 2 seed.
Up and into Whitehead, as we had mentioned in our pregame conversation that 1 and 2 is likely to be Sanford and Leesburg. Order of that to be determined.
I should say it would lock them into a top 2 seed, is what I was trying to get at.
At least the 2 seed, yes. As I knew what you meant.
Yeah, exactly. You knew where I was going.
But those 3, 4, and 5 is anyone's to grab. Suns, of course, get 3 games against the Lightning starting tomorrow. Whitehead up the middle for a base hit back-to-back for the Snappers. Shaker will get it in. First and second, still 1 away, and here's Jack Spates. So they came into the inning with just 1 hit, and they've recorded back-to-back against Skinner here with 1 away.
Whitehead just taking that right back where it came from. Clean single up the middle. Only a 2-0 ball game. The Suns have 7 hits, but haven't been able to put up more than the 2 they got in the first inning.
Jack Spates, the extra hitter, first pitch swing, fouling it back above our heads here in the press box. So it's Ryan Coleman on second, Jeslyn Whitehead on first. As we've seen the Suns turn a couple double plays against the Snappers in these situations in the last few games they've played. Chopped down the third base line and foul. Few feet away from being potentially 2 runs as that one got into the corner eventually. Nearly skipped right over the third base bag. Instead, it's 0-2 to Spates. So this is a huge opportunity for the Snappers to get to Skinner, who's been oh so efficient through the first 4. 1 out here in the 5th. Spates fights it off. Good job to protect there.
Yeah, that was a good pitch from Skinner. It looked to be either the slider or the slurve. Kind of tough for us to tell from our vantage point here in Doc's box. As the field umpire Jared Neal takes a look at the baseball and chucks it out of play. And sometimes we see pitchers ask for a new ball from home plate umpires, but the ball generally just goes back in the home plate umpire's satchel on his hip. That one got thrown completely out of play.
We're going to do it again, 0-2 to Spates. This one's a little too high. Spates holds back. Robbie Post on deck.
Good idea by Skinner. Went with the elevated fastball, but Spates held up.
It's 1-2 to Spates. Taps this one out in front of the mound. Only play is going to be to 1. Tough play for Skinner, and the throw's off the bag. It's going to be an infield single for Spates, and the bases are loaded. 3 consecutive hits for the Snappers.
Looks just like DeLand's first inning. They strung together 4 straight singles and are out to putting up 2. That's the only scoring in the ballgame so far. It's 2-0 Suns. Both of those runs in the bottom of the first inning. Now Robbie Post finds himself in a big-time situation for Seminole County.
Robbie Post came into this season figuring to be one of the pivotal bats in the Snapper lineup. And he rips this one into the right center field gap. Going back on it, Shaka, he'll make the catch. And Coleman didn't tag. Now he goes, and he's still going to be in there. Coleman was not ready to tag initially when Shaka made that catch. Luckily, still able to get in to cut the lead in half. A sacrifice flying an RBI for Post, but
a big sigh of relief out of Ryan Coleman. That was almost a major mistake mentally. And Shaka, one of the better defensive outfielders we've got down here in the Florida League this summer, covers so much ground in center field. Had to go a good ways back into the right center field gap. Caught it maybe 7 or 8 feet in front of the Corey Kluber Championship Culture banner here at Conrad Park. Yeah, Ryan Coleman just not on the bag. He's fortunate that ball was deep enough for him to retreat and still get home.
Well, we have this mound visit here. I have to wonder, I want to go back to the whole thing with the baseball. Is it just me? But I feel like with everything that's going around in baseball now, every time you have those conversations, I'm left to think it's a substance check.
Oh, that's immediately what I flashed to. I don't know what the Florida League policies on spider tack are necessarily. Like we got some sort of conversation going down here on the field. They sorted it out, whatever it was.
First and second, 2 away. Here's Collier Cranford, the LSU shortstop. Checks his swing as he tried to go for the breaking ball, 1-0. Cranford has a chance to potentially tie this ball game up. Whitehead has decent speed at second to score on a base hit. First run of the ball game scored for the Snappers here on the sacrifice fly by Robbie Post. Another breaking ball misses away, 2-0.
There is action in the Suns bullpen now. And it's the reigning Florida League Pitcher of the Week, Connor Udell. Remains to be seen when he'll get into this ball game.
2-0, grounded to second. Eats up 8, and he's still going to recover, throwing to first in time to get Cranford. So the inning is over, but not before the Snappers cut the lead in half. It's now 2-1. We go to the top of the 6th.
With the recap of the first half, we head back to the Learfield Network studios. Once again, here's Jake Ness.
For the second straight week, a MAC school is involved in a down-to-the-wire shootout, and this time they are the ones delivering the final blow. Western Michigan goes to Pitt and knocks off the Panthers 44-41. Another top 5 challenge this week as Kent State goes on the road to take on 5th-ranked Iowa. Tight game so far. Kent State has found the end zone, but the Hawkeyes still lead it 9-7 in the second quarter. Eastern Michigan is all over UMass in the late first half, 21-7. Miami looking for their first win on the season as they host Long Island. They lead that one 14-7 in the second quarter. Ball State is the one who gets their shot at Wyoming this week, and midway through the first, it's Wyoming 17, Ball State 0, and Toledo, who was oh so close to knocking off the Irish last week, are hosting Colorado State, and they trail that one 3-0 in the first quarter. Around the rest of the top 25 now, as we just said, Notre Dame just fended off Toledo last week and are currently doing the same against Purdue. They lead that one 17-6 in the third. Two SEC powerhouses going at it down in Gainesville.
Second and goal, Bama from the 7. Inside the final minute of the opening quarter, Bama's on top 14-3. 3 wides to the left. Bryce Young claps his hands, gets the snap. Robinson deploys, picks up a man, cuts inside the defender. He'll walk it in for another Alabama touchdown.
Eli Gold on that one. The 11th ranked Gators so far no challenge for the Tide, who lead at 21-3 midway through the second quarter. We'll see the Buckeyes next week in prime time, and right now number 9 Ohio State is hosting Tulsa, currently holding a 10-6 lead in the second quarter. Number 6 Clemson opening their ACC slate and are currently ahead early against Georgia Tech 7-0. And fresh off upsetting Texas, the Arkansas Razorbacks, now ranked at number 20 and looking to climb. They have an early lead over Georgia Southern 14-0. The 24th ranked Hurricanes were on upset alert early against an undefeated Michigan State, and turns out all you need to stop a Hurricane is Peyton Thorne.
Wind that clock.
Peyton Thorne, the son of a coach, knows what needs to be done. He takes the snap, winds up and throws toward the end zone. He's got a man open. It's caught. Jalen Naylor, touchdown MSU. Wow, what a throw and a heck of a call.
That was the 4th touchdown of the day for Thorne as the Spartans make a case for a top 25 spot with a statement victory, 38-17. More from me after the game. After this break, we're going to send it back to InfoCision Stadium as Dave and Joe have a special guest in the booth. More after this. You're listening to the Akron Sports Network from Learfield. Back here in the Learfield studio to wrap it all up, Jake Ness with you on the Papa John's postgame show. The Zips are victorious for the first time in 2021. Let's take you around the rest of the MAC. Credit Kent State for putting up a fight early, but ultimately unable to squeak past number 5 Iowa 30-7. Eastern Michigan kept their foot on the gas in the second half and hold on 42-28 over UMass. Miami pulls out their first win of the season, dominant over LIU, 42-7. Wyoming keeps putting up big numbers against MAC competition. Ball State, the victims this week. That one's 38-12 in the fourth. Toledo currently trying to fight back early in the fourth quarter. They trail Colorado State 13-6. Bowling Green once again looking for their first win in 2 years. They are tied up at halftime with Murray State. And we'll see if Central Michigan is able to keep up their offensive surge as they kick off at 7:30 against LSU in Death Valley. Let's take a look around the rest of the nation. Notre Dame has had a flair for the dramatic so far this year, but remain undefeated as they knock off Purdue 27-13. And boy, did we have a game in the swamp.
Colton is wide to the right. The snap to Jones. Hands it off to Pierce. Bouncing left. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown! Pierce the Painter! It's 31-29!
Mick Hubert from Learfield on that call, but Florida failed the potential game-tying conversion, and that was the difference as the top-ranked Crimson Tide were able to hold on 31-29, but another instant classic between two of the SEC's top programs. Arkansas, speaking of the SEC, will certainly climb their number 20 ranking as they are pounding Georgia Southern 38-10.
Snap to Stroud, feeds Henderson.
Running straight up the middle to the 50. Left angle of the Tulsa 40 goes Henderson. Wider to the left of the Tulsa 30. To the 20 goes Henderson. To the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Travion Henderson, 52 yards. His third TD today.
That was Paul Keels on the call. The 9th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes tightly holding on ahead of Tulsa, 27-20 in the fourth. A couple more big games just about to get underway within the hour. Second-ranked Georgia opens their SEC slate against the South Carolina Gamecocks. 4th-ranked Oregon will host Stony Brook and the Whiteout in Happy Valley as number 10 Penn State hosts number 22 Auburn. That one should be a fun one. The Zips have a big test next week in primetime when they head to Columbus to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll be live with you once again with Sarah Auto Parts countdown to kickoff at 6:30. Thank you to everyone who joined in for the Zips' first victory of 2021. For Dave and Joe, I'm Jake Ness. We'll see you next week. Go Zips.